Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, the Raiders free agent targets at the running back position. Klint Kubiak at the NFL Combine said that he wants to use 2 running backs. So today, I have ranked the top 10 running backs that I want this organization to target once free agency starts. If you did not see what our new head coach had to say at the Combine, this is what he said. We definitely want to have a 2-man show. Guys that can share the load. It's a long season. You don't want to put all the carries and targets on one guy. So right now, we're identifying guys that are available in the draft, identifying free agents we might go after, looking at our own roster, and seeing who can share that. It's important that Jeanty has a wingman. And if y'all are trying to be my wingman, I'm going to be live here on the Raiders Report for free agency. It starts the legal tampering period, noon Eastern time. Raiders got a lot of money to spend, and I expect John Spytek to be aggressive. When I spoke to Spytek at the Combine, he wouldn't tell me what the Raiders' top needs are, but he knew that the Raiders had a lot of needs. And the fact that the new league year begins Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time, this is when all those deals will become officially official. And I promise y'all this, I will provide more free agency coverage than any other person on planet Earth when it revolves around the silver and black. We're going to be giving away money. We're going to be giving away prizes. If you want to hang out with me and my team here, we're going to be talking all things NFL free agency. I bet y'all I'm live 25, 30 hours next week. Book it. Buckle it up. Make sure you bring your drinking pants, because I'm telling you what, free agency coverage here on the Raiders Report is one of my favorite weeks of the year. The way that we're going to do today's show is we're going to work our way from 10 all the way down to 1. 1 being the number 1 running back I want the silver and black to go out and get. Also, what's very important about this show, just because a player's ranked lower doesn't mean that he's not as talented. What I also consider is fit, I also consider age, and I also just consider how much money it's going to cost the Raiders to go out and get him. Coming in here at number 10, I'm going to say Nick Chubb. I had the opportunity to watch Chubb a little bit more closely this season. Obviously, Chubb has done a hell of a job covering the Houston Texans. But I had a source tell me some stuff about Joe Mixon at the beginning of the season. So then I started watching Woody Marks. I started watching Nick Chubb a little bit closely. Because Chubb is a good running back and he's a physical back, I do wonder, could you just put him as your RB2? But I actually think that this would be more of like a Zamir White replacement than I do think of Raheem Mostert. And if they were to add Chubb, I actually think then the Raiders would look to add another running back in the draft a little bit higher up overall. He is getting up there in age. He's not nearly as talented as what he once was in Cleveland. But Raheem Mostert and Zamir White, they're both free agents. So coming in here at number 10, I'm going to go with old reliable Nick Chubb. Let's go to number 9, a familiar face, and I'm going to put Ameer Abdullah. And I was a little bit surprised that I had Ameer ranked above Chubb, but I do think Abdullah is a better fit for what this team needs. And I don't think that Abdullah would be that secondary back to Ashton Jeanty. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is finding free agent targets at the running back position. And if you're able to bring in a reliable pass-catching back, somebody that I loved what he brought to the table for the Raiders over those few seasons that he was with us, like, that's important. The Spytek market value, it's cheap, $1.9 million, because he's a tough, reliable pass catcher that can also pick up blitz packages. Was with the Raiders from 2022 to 2024, also has a year of overlap with Klint Kubiak in Minnesota in 2021. But if you go out and you get Ameer, he's probably your RB3. The Raiders then probably look to add another running back in the draft to be able to pair with Ashton Jeanty. Let's go to number 8 here on my board, and it's going to be Raheem Mostert. And Mostert does cause a little bit of pause because he's 33 years old, getting up there in age a little bit, and he did not look all that productive. But then again, the Raiders literally didn't use him on special teams the first 3 weeks. That was a dumb decision. The Raiders' offensive line last season was an absolute joke. The reason why I like Raheem Mostert here, cheap deal, 1 year, $1.5 million, but he also has experience in a Kyle Shanahan running game, and I think a lot of the things that Shanahan utilizes, hell, the year that Mostert had 21 touchdowns in Miami in 2023, that's Mike McDaniel. That comes from a Shanahan offense. That comes from, and it's very similar to what the style of offense that Klint Kubiak is going to run from a zone gap scheme. So, Mostert, I get it, up there in age. Didn't look all that great last season. But if you want somebody that you know has continuity with Jeanty, a running back that can help you out on special teams, and a guy that I don't really think we really got an opportunity to see much of last season, Raheem Mostert, comes in here at number 8. Now, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. If the Raiders can only sign one running back, you're only allowed to sign one. Who should it be? And let me know why. My why and the running back that I want the Raiders to sign will be ranked number 1 on today's show. Hopefully you take this opportunity and shoot your shot. That's what the Raiders Report is all about. I don't want to be the only guy up here giving my opinion. That's not how good friendships work. It's not how conversations work. So if you're a real one, let me know down below the running back you want the silver and black to sign. Let's go to number 7 here. It's going to be Jeremy McNichols, and I got to be very transparent. The first 5 backs that you're going to see on this show are really probably closer to like RB3, RB2s than being a true back that can work with Ashton Jeanty the way that we want them to. But I at least want to be able to give you guys some different names that you could think about. And McNichols at 30 years old didn't really do too much in terms of a running game last season for Washington, but he did catch 25 balls on 31 targets, which I do think is a very interesting role that he could play with Las Vegas. He does overlap with Klint Kubiak in 2023 in San Francisco, though he literally doesn't have any stats that season. His projected contract is 1 year, $1.5 million, according to PFF. But if you're looking for a running back that can catch the football, that's played in every single game over the past 2 seasons that you can get at a cheap discount that does have Klint Kubiak experience, Jeremy McNichols could be just one of those really, really cheap backs that you could add as an RB3. Coming up next here on the show, my top 6 running back free agent targets. And I want you to think about that Klint Kubiak quote, okay? That Klint Kubiak quote is about to start making sense because the running backs that I'm about to talk about will be more backs that you can start to split a little bit more work with Ashton Jeanty. Speaking of Ashton Jeanty, he's a bell cow. He's the number 1 back on this team. And if you're looking for the number 1 spot where you got to get some bling, it's GLD. Change the game. Use code CHAT for 50% off. I didn't stutter. 50% off. Code CHAT at GLD.com. Every guy's got those go-to pieces. Like, I know if Alex and I are doing date night, I want to wear certain clothes. Maybe I got a certain shirt. Maybe I got certain pants. Hell, I even have certain underwear that I wear on special occasions. Like, shout out to my guy, Max Crosby. He hooked me up with the Sacks. Absolutely love them. But the one thing that I love about GLD is they got chains, pennants, bracelets, iced out watches. I mean, they have all sorts of different things. Over 2 million customers, 50,000 5-star reviews, and they've been worn by stars like A$AP Rocky, Justin Bieber. GLD offers every price point from the entry-level 18-karat gold plated, kind of like the one that I'm rocking right now, which is the chain that I got on. Also, though, they got much things that are maybe even a little bit more out of my price range. But no matter what the occasion is, whether it's a date night or whether you're live on the Raiders Report, if you want to get the chain that I'm always wearing, then this is your one-stop shop to get your hands on it. And, I know there's a lot of other sports out there. Like, you got a kid who's in the baseball game. Hey, man, they got gloves. They got all sorts of different pennants. But if you want this chain, the Raiders chain, the one I got on, then go down in the comment section, go down in the description, go to GLD.com because you're going to be able to get 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Raiders Report. Please tell them that we sent you because at the end of the day, I want to be able to hook up Raider Nation with awesome deals like this. And this is a great chain that I can wear to work. It's also a great chain that I can wear on date night for my wife. Let's go to number 6 here on our free agent running back targets, Najee Harris. And Najee's kind of a difficult one to wrap my mind around. Obviously, had an injury last season, and it really zapped him of his entire year coming off a torn Achilles. I don't know what Najee's going to look like coming off a torn Achilles. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. If Najee looks like the version that I saw in 2021 to 2024, a running back that, can run between the tackles, isn't going to wow you, but is somebody that can catch the football, somebody that can handle a larger workload, and he literally didn't miss a game. That's a guy I'm very interested in. The PFF projected contract, 1 year, 1.35. I love that value for Najee. I liked him coming out of Alabama. I didn't think that he was going to be the type of player that some other people thought. Like, I remember hearing the Derrick Henry comparisons, and I really only think that's just because of the size and the helmet that he wore in college. But I mean, like, look at 2024 to 2022. Those are a lot of productive seasons in the mix there. He does have some AFC West kind of experience last season with the Chargers. But again, if you're telling me I'm getting a healthy Najee, I think it's an interesting RB2 in this offense. Let's go to number 5, J.K. Dobbins. And very similar to what I said about Najee. If you told me I could turn off injuries, I would probably rank J.K. Dobbins much higher on this list. And I actually feel bad for J.K. simply because he's just been injured what it seems like every single season. But when he's been healthy, he's been a really good running back. And I remember watching him when he was first coming out of Ohio State. But at 27 years old, the first 10 weeks of last season, J.K. Dobbins, I think, was the best running back on Denver. And I don't think it was all that close. I think he was better than R.J. Harvey. I think he was a big fit for what they were trying to do offensively. But he hasn't been able to stay healthy. 49 games missed since 2020. So if you're willing to take a player on a one-year, $5.5 million deal that I don't want to say you can almost guarantee he's going to get hurt because that's not fair to Dobbins. But if I'm putting on my Raiders cap and if I'm putting on my organization, if I'm putting on my front office cap, do I want to invest $5.5 million in J.K. Dobbins, who does anybody here think he's going to play all 17 games? I know I don't. And if the objective is to find a running back who you can count on at the end of the season to help keep Ashton Jeanty healthy, Dobbins might not be that guy. But if you just need a running back for the first half of the season and then you really lean on Ashton Jeanty to be your bell cow, well, then maybe J.K. Dobbins is your guy. Let's go to number 4 here, Brian Robinson. And Brian Robinson, it's not a sexy move at all. That's okay to me. You know why? Because we already have our sexy running back in Jeanty. 6'1", 225-pound Robinson. He's going to do what you need him to do. I need you to get north and south. That's what he is. He's a north and south running back. He's not going to flash too much. 212 snaps was a career low last season in San Francisco's offense. But then again, you're behind Christian McCaffrey. Like, I think if you're looking at this Raiders offense, 212 snaps for Brian Robinson, that makes sense. But a reliable RB2 with 662 carries, 73 receptions since the 2022 season. If you're able to get him on a one-year, $2.75 million deal, I do think that can be an intriguing option for a guy who had, look at those numbers, 8 rushing touchdowns in 2024, 9 rushing touchdowns in 2023, because the other part of this equation needs to be, can I rely on a running back in the red zone? Can I rely on a running back to put the ball in his gut and he's not going to fumble it when it matters the most? Ryan Robinson, very well-liked player, very hard-working guy, loves football, a lot of boxes being checked in my book. So I want the Raiders, I want to be very clear, I want the Raiders to add a free agent running back this offseason. And if you agree with that statement, I hope that you hit that like button. I know we have Ashton Jeanty, but you can't just think about Jeanty. You got to think about replacing Raheem Mostert, replacing Zamir White. And with all due respect, I don't have any confidence in Dylan Laube, and I don't have any confidence in Chris Collier. So if you're able to draft a running back and sign one, I think that is a great investment in Jeanty to make sure that he is as healthy and as best he possibly can be in December, in January, and hopefully also on Valentine's Day. Now, you're going to see 3 running backs not on this show because it's not that I don't like Kenneth Walker. It's not that I don't like Travis Etienne or Rico Dowdle. Javonte Williams also, he ended up signing with the Cowboys, I believe it was on February 21st, 3 years, $24 million. But if you're the Raiders, I think we have so many other holes that I don't think that you can spend the amount of money that's going to cost to go out and get Kenneth Walker. If you can get Travis Etienne at like $6-7 million per year, you can entertain that idea. But I think he could end up getting more on the open market. Rico Dowdle, the only reason why I'm not really sold on him is he wants to be a lead back. He made that very clear to Carolina. I don't think he would want to be an RB2 with Ashton Jeanty. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have him on this list. Yes, it's important to find an RB2, but I don't want to break the bank on that RB2 position. Let's go to number 3 here, my free agent running back targets, Kenneth Gainwell from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was extremely, and I mean extremely impressed by what Gainwell was able to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers because, at the end of the day, I want a running back that if God forbid Jeanty goes down, can I trust him to be in a larger role? And he stepped into a much larger role in 2025, and he produced 1,023 scrimmage yards. Like, he's a reliable pass catcher. He's a really solid third down back. 2 years, $8 million. I think that's good value. And, he is a little bit undersized, no doubt about it. But at 26 years old, would you guys be interested in a young Amir Abdullah? If your answer is yes to that, then you should look at somebody like Kenneth Gainwell, who I think has the career year this past season in Pittsburgh. Spent some seasons in Philadelphia, spent some seasons in Pennsylvania, but getting a new opportunity to be an RB2 to Jeanty, I think when people think of what an RB2 looks like for the Raiders, they think of more of like a scat back like Kenneth. And if the Raiders are looking for a scat back, I think Gainwell's a hell of an option. But to me, there are two options that I just think fit better of what Klint Kubiak is looking in terms of your prototypical RB2 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Coming in here at number 2, it's Rachaad White. He's got some connections to John Spytek, got some Tampa Bay ties, obviously, from his time being there. 6 foot, 214-pound, 27-year-old running back. But I will say, I think he's coming off the best year of his career. And I also think he's a really, really good fit for the Kubiak offense. He was one of the best running backs last season in zone and gap runs. Also last year, I like when players show me that they can make improvements. Rachaad White had some fumbling issues. 0 fumbles last season, 0 drops in 2025. If I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty off the field, I need to know the snaps that he's off the field are going to be good snaps. And White showed last season that he can be relied upon. 2 years, $11 million, $5.5 million is, I think, kind of the area that you should be looking at for somebody like White to be that RB2. But 132 carries in 2025, 144 in 2024. Those would be the types of stat lines that I personally would be looking for from Rachaad White if you pair him up with the Jeanty. 2022, 2023, especially 2023, I just don't see those types of numbers happening. But if you can give me 2024, 2025 production and not turn the ball over, Rachaad White is a phenomenal fit next to Jeanty. But number 1, and I have said this name multiple times. Hell, I've already done an entire video on why I believe Tyler Allgeier is the perfect running back that the Raiders should sign to pair with Ashton Jeanty. And it's because he's perfect for the RB2 role. Think about what he just did in Atlanta with Bijan Robinson. Tyler, I'm going to ask you to do the exact same thing. There have been some rumors out there that he wants $8 million a year. That ain't going to happen. And if he wants to go get $8 million a year, it's not going to be with the Las Vegas Raiders. If you're telling me I can get him on this PFF projected contract at 2 years, $10 million, phenomenal, phenomenal deal. 20 touchdowns in the last 4 seasons. Also, he's never missed an NFL game. 8 touchdowns last season in the ATL. But I want a reliable running back. This guy has never fumbled. In fact, he has the most touches in NFL history. 737 touches without a fumble. He can catch the football. He can run between the tackles. I know that the 3.6 yards per carry last season might scare some people, but that's also an offense that was 2 totally different offenses. Like, when it was Tyler Allgeier and Kirk Cousins under center, he was much better. When it was Michael Penix and they were running a lot more out of the shotgun, it wasn't nearly as good. So when you compare the type of offense that Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders are going to run with Klint Kubiak, it's a lot closer to Kirk Cousins. So because of that, I believe Tyler Allgeier is the perfect running back that this organization can pair with Ashton Jeanty. Before I hop on out of here real quick, 10 down to 7 are really just, I would consider more RB2, RB3 names. If Najee Harris is healthy and J.K. Dobbins, very interesting running back twos to be able to pair with Jeanty. Brian Robinson is not a sexy name, but that's okay if he can fill the role that we're looking him to fill. Really where I think that this show should start, my top 3. Kenneth Gainwell, Rachaad White, and then there's a tier gap between White and Tyler Allgeier. If you're the Raiders and you really want to be able to find an RB2 to put to Jeanty that fits with this offense, that fits with what we're doing, Rachaad White, Tyler Allgeier should be your top 2 candidates. And you already know, if the Raiders sign any of my top guys, we party, we go wild on the show. I will be live for all of free agency. It's the most busy time of the year for us here, maybe outside of the NFL draft. If you appreciate the content, if you want to hang out with the Raider Nation, and if you want to know NFL news that happens before you see it on TV, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, you're going to love our free agency coverage. And if you don't, you can unsubscribe. It's 100% free.